Hello there and welcome to my latest video that it's not actually attached to any of my series. It's just I decided just to put a few euros onto Unibet and just have a little bit of a fish around. So I thought it might be a nice time to record a video on a site that you rarely see on other video producers playing on, and just to give you a bit of a look around at what your alternatives are to the big three sites. Well, the big one site and then the two-bit pack players, if you're a European player. This left-hand side table is insanely soft. It's possibly one of the softest poker tables I've played at in a very long time. Bluffs haven't been working. People have been very sticky. I check back this turn because I don't particularly want to get blown off my hand by a raise from somebody, and I'm not going to try and bluff this river. If we look at the flop texture, absolutely everything that called the flop that I was beating is now beating me. I don't expect these players to fold too often, so I'm just going to give the pot up. And yeah, he may have folded that hand. But I'm not too worried about that because this table, they're not exploiting anyone at all. Just every player appears to be just like a loose passive calling station. So we're just going to c-bet here to just try and get him off his equity share. And if he stays in the pot, we will not be continuing unless we strike a 10. The queen certainly gives me some showdown value. Don't expect this guy to bluff me too often here. Checks back. I could go for something value here from Jack X. Do I want to? If I check, I'm going to check fold, so I think we'll just go for some very thin value from Jack X. If I get raised, to have a really, really easy fold. I mean, I'm presuming the guy just has a flush there or something. I have no problem folding that hand whatsoever. At the right hand side table, it's certainly not as soft as left hand table, but if we look around, we've got two players who there is no auto reload on this site, so I don't class players with 49, 25 and 48, 50 as people who are not necessarily weak players, but people who are significantly below the 100 blinds. I think it's a fair assumption that they're not going to be particularly good. So we have two potentially weak players on the right hand side table, and I think on this left hand side table, I think everyone's a weak player. So I think either any of these three players are anything that could be even close to considered regulars. He's min-raised the river here, or virtually min-raised it. We have to go 162 to it, so we're getting like 3 to 1 on our money on the call. I'm just going to fold. I really have a strong dislike of paying people off who I believe are passive, and this is the second time since the video started that he's raised the river. But I've been playing for this session now for around 25 minutes, and he doesn't strike me as somebody who gets out of line. It may well turn out that he has changed his style. I mean, the problem with non-regulars are they're so erratic. They can play calling stationary for a good while, then something, who knows, maybe he's got more than one table going, or maybe something else is going on, maybe he's had one extra beer. Who knows, the games can change so quickly because they are way less consistent, way less predictable than a lot of regulars are. So who knows, maybe he's now, it's the first time I've seen him raise. Maybe he is just getting a little bit overexcited. So we'll certainly be keeping an eye on it. because it does appear to be changing slightly. But I am basing that on a very small sample size. And who knows? It's really hard to say, but one thing that's very apparent is he's not a good poker player. So I think most of the focus of this video is going to be on this left hand side table. Hopefully the game won't break. Just to talk a little bit about Unibet as a site. There is no game selection on the site, there's no table selection on the site. You pretty much just, I'll show you the lobby. Please ignore the bankroll because it is just a little bit of money that I put on just to make the video. You just join the table, you click join there, it seats you at the table with an open seat. There's no other way of selecting apart from that. Kind of from a complete game selection bum hunting point of view, it's not ideal, but I think having said that, it's a nice new site. It seems to be doing quite well with recreational players. The games certainly seem to be better than the more established sites. So yeah, what we lose in game selection, perhaps we make up for just in the overall game quality. But it's way too early for me to say this, and I'm not certainly going to move my bankroll here overnight. I'm going to have a look at the games, have a little fiddle around with them, and see what's happening. But right now, I mean, I'm going to be probably staying with my beloved 888, but who knows? Apologies if you can hear that background noise. We have a kitten, and she is currently going absolutely bananas. Yeah, so to get back to talking about Unibet, I think it's a softer site than all of the established sites. By the established sites, I mean the big five: PokerStars, 888, Full Tilt, Party Poker, and Die Poker. I think it's clearly softer than all of them. And yeah, we can probably make a decent amount of money. I'm not entirely sure what the games are like at the higher limits. We'll flop to straight here. I'm just going to lead straight out through this pot. I think people check back these boards way too often. I think we can get absolutely tons of value. He's folded, never mind. It's not a big deal. Great flop on the left table for our two queens. There's two people in the pot. I'm just going to bet big and hope one of them has a pocket pair that they're not that inclined to fold. I'm just going to keep betting here, and there's a good chance I'm just going to shove the river. If I get raised on the turn here, I'm going to feel a little bit uneasy. I'm going to bet really big just to set up the river jam. I'm really not happy about this. It's not beyond possibility that this guy can have a 3. But I'm not prepared to fold. And he has the flush draw and he bricks, so obviously a great outcome for us. Yeah, I wasn't sure about that spot. English limp called. It's a great flop for queens, and that my initial idea was that's a great flop. I want to get all the money in. Obviously, when we get check raised on the turn, check raise all in, the guy usually is going to have either a hand like he's got like some kind of decent-ish equity bluff, or he's going to have us crushed. And then we put too much money in the pot to fold against someone who we suspect is bad at poker. I mean, it's a regular. I think we have a pretty easy fold, but the hand wouldn't play that way against a regular. So it's a bit of a moot point. But yeah, obviously really glad I've held because it might have been a quick end to the video if we'd not won that pot and then maybe lost another, because I don't intend on depositing any more money right now onto Unibet. So if my $60 that I've got left behind these tables doesn't last, well, it'll be time to do something else for the evening. I'm going to raise here. I'm going to raise quite big because I don't think this guy, in fact I'm just going to put him in. I don't think he's going to fold very much. And he did manage to find a fold. with Unibet, just to show you too. It's quite interesting. You can have lots of multiple aliases. If we just have a quick look at this, I can play any one of them combined with the Reggie tab at the same time. So I could open a new table, and one table is Reggie time and one table is Brian Potter or whatever. I think that's really quite a nice innovation. I'm using Reggie Town for this video on 2 tables, but I think perhaps if I was playing regularly in these games, and I would say 3 or 4 tables in them, I would possibly use different areas to every table, and it would just help keep any regulars off guard. Or I think it might, I'm not sure, I haven't put too much thought into it yet, but I think it might be a nice way to keep regulars off guard. It's certainly a nice way to avoid people getting too much of read on you over multiple sessions. And also the regulars that don't change their screen names on a daily basis or on a weekly basis are going to be a lot easier to identify, which is obviously to our advantage. Yeah, overall Unibet, I think it's a nice site. The software plays really nicely. If you're multi-tabling, it works well. It seems to start malfunction if you manage to somehow miss a hand at a table and end up being sat out. It starts this global sit-out situation, and then the software doesn't seem to run quite as well. So if you want to be a multi-tabler, the software might well just get on your nerves slightly. I think you'll probably find it a little bit frustrating. But if you're just a player who wants to play somewhere between 2 and 4 tables and just try and grind out 20, 50 euros a night profit without really being in too many difficult games, it's probably a really nice option for you, I would imagine. It's certainly something that I'm considering, because poker isn't my main income. I have several different income streams. My main income is I am a support worker. I work with adults that have learning disabilities or various different mental health problems and disorders. I have my poker income. I also give respite care to a young lady for 14 hours per week, and I also have a minor, quite a small poker coaching income too. So I don't need poker to be a real big income for me. If I can just pull anywhere from 150 to 400 pounds per month, that's great for me. I don't rely on poker at all for my income. It's just if I make money at poker, I usually just either reinvest it in myself by playing high limits, or I just save the money, take the money off mine and save it. So dropping down and playing 3 or 4 tables on a softer site for me, and actually getting pleasure from doing it, is definitely a viable option. As I expect it will be for quite a lot of working recreational players or semi-serious players who don't rely on poker for a lot of their income. I'm just going to follow the king. I kind of want to play pots against this guy. It's a shame that I'm out of position to him. Just going to make a small c-bet here. I think this girl power's been pretty aggressive what I've seen so far. Not overly aggressive, but certainly the most aggressive player across the 2 tables. So I wouldn't be at all surprised if I got raised here. Then we have no showdown value, we have some backdoors. The 3 of diamonds is clearly not a good card for us. I'm pretty much going to be done with that now. No intention of putting any more money in the pot. Hope to spike a 10, hope I win. That's kind of the plan for the river. There's not much more of a plan than that. Although now there's 4 diamonds there. If he checks, I am mighty tempted to bluff. Kind of first to bet on these 4 flush boards usually wins the pot. If his bluff catches me, say queen of diamonds, if he's got maybe like queen 10 with a diamond, I expect to get called quite often, but I'm going to try and make a bet to get him to fold a jack specifically. I don't think he's going to fold an ace too often. I don't think he can fold a jack quite often with this bet size. I didn't want to make it too small and get called too often. I kind of wanted to at least put him to the test a little bit. But yeah, getting back to Unibet as a site. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. There's no tracking software that I know of. I believe Hold'em Indicator may work on the site. It's going to be harder to track my results, my hourly rate, etc. But again, they're nice things to know. It's nice to know what your hourly rate is. I do have a spreadsheet that I can track my results on just by inputting my. It's just a basic spreadsheet a friend made for me. It's hours played, starting bankroll, end bankroll, etc. So it does the job. It's not ideal. When you had a losing session, it can be really not fun to input a losing session, or if you have multiple losing sessions. It's a bit of a pain in the bum, but it's not that hard to do either. It's not that hard to manage. I get to play it here regularly. What I might do is, instead of just updating after every session, because I think there's a chance you become too result orientated if you update after every session, is perhaps just keep a track of my hours on a weekly basis and just update the spreadsheet weekly. That might be a nice way to do it. Here I'm going to call because I'm hoping this Tim Carl character might come along. Super Swag seems to have been pretty quiet so far. And we flopped interestingly here. Wish I'd paid more attention now. I think this is a new player. It could be the player I stacked earlier. I wish I'd paid a little bit more attention. But we're going to start by betting here because obviously we have a good shot with a flush draw. I'm not expecting anyone to fold pocket pairs. If someone folds ace high or king high or something like that, obviously we're doing just fine. The ace is actually a good card for me to carry on trying to represent, but this guy is so fishy. He could quite easily have a 3 or a 6. I mean, he don't think he's going to fold a 6. He almost certainly isn't going to fold a 3. And we have seen him be a little bit tricky in terms of getting to the river with some suspected slow plays that he's raised. So I'm just going to take my free card here. Then we obviously spike a straight, and this is one when I won't be folding if he raises. So we'll go for quite a chunky value bet. If he raises, I've no intention of folding, although I would expect him to probably have a strong hand. So yeah, just to carry on my point about playing on softer sides, it's something I discussed on Reddit recently, and I think it's something that a lot of decent players are certainly sharing my view on, in that the bigger sites aren't necessarily the best place for micro-stakes grinders to ply the trade. If you're a semi-serious micro-stakes grinder on a major site and you are winning at say 1 or 2 big blinds per 100, it's almost certainly you could do better and improve your hourly rate at a site like this. If you are playing on say party poker at, I don't know, 25 and now, playing the fast fold tables, and you're winning at 2 bigs 100, so you may be making like $6, $7 an hour, something like that, maybe less. I think you could come and play on these sites at the regular tables, 4 table 50 an hour, and increase your hourly rate. So on top of that, you probably get more pleasure from your poker too. This table here, I don't know much about this guy. I'm going to start by 3 betting for value. And I would probably get it in against a jam, but I'm not sure because we just don't know much about him. He's been at the table since the start. He hasn't been particularly active. So maybe if he did jam there, maybe folding would have been better. Isolate the joker here. Just going to fold the 2s. And again, this guy, he's just in every pot almost. I'm not going to try and bluff on this board. I have no equity. I don't think it's fine to give up sometimes, and this isn't the worst hand in the world just to give up with. If it checks through the 3rd time, I may well just make a decently sized bet on the river. because I don't think anybody has an ace to 8 hands played. So if I was to bet something like 480, hopefully get someone to fold something that's worse than a king. I don't expect a king or an ace to fold to this bet, but I would hope I could get some other things to fold that would not beat him. I mean, I didn't expect a king to call, but now we know this guy is another equally bad player. He's limp calling raises with king 8 off suit. Yeah, as you can see, this is a really nice night in terms of game quality. And if this continues for the next few sessions that I play, in terms of not how much I'm winning or losing, but in terms of just regularly finding games with players of this kind of quality in them, I'll be very motivated to leave 888, which, to be fair, the last few months has been getting significantly drier. I think the snap games are poor, whether there's people using automated software in there to play, I'm not sure. There's certainly a lot of regulars that seem to put an awful lot of hours in, and I'm a little bit skeptical as to how they're managing to do that. I'm not going to make any accusations because I don't know. I haven't looked into it enough. I haven't done the necessary work to try and find out if there are any people doing wrong in there. But I have my suspicions, and in the regular tables, it's been hard to get the traffic. So I have been looking a little bit for an alternative to 888. I've had a little look at Sky Poker, but the Sky Poker software, it just tilts me silly. It's really poor. Considering in 2015, I think I was playing on better software when I was playing on my Amiga back in the early 90s. I think my Amiga could have done a better job than the Sky Poker software does. It's awful. So that's not really an option for me. Unibet, I'm hoping could be an option. I'm not remotely interested in rakeback or anything like that. I don't care. I just want to play good poker games, enjoy myself, and make some money at the end of the month, make some gravy. I'm going to call here because of this Joker character. I want to be playing pots with him as often as I can. I think 6-4 suited normally is the hand I would raise to a cut-off offer from somebody who I suspect may be a regular. But Joker certainly adds value to the call. And given how we saw him play the king last time, I'm not intending, especially as I turned up with a bluff too, I'm not intending on bluffing anytime soon at this table. I'd probably, if I was going to play, I'm not going to play for another hour or so, but if I was for another hour or so, maybe I'd consider making a bluff then. But I think once you get caught bluffing, you kind of, especially against weaker players who are more call happy to begin with, you kind of need to rein it in a little bit. You don't particularly want to make your next sizable bet a bluff again. We're going to try and restore some credibility by either making good spots to make people fold so they don't see your cards, or by making good value bets and having people seeing you turn up with decent hands. You need to restore your image. Because the weak players are not paying too much attention, but they know when they've caught a bluff. Because they're happy about it, it'll stick in the memory. And they'll see me as a bluffer now. I don't bluff very often at all, but I'd imagine Joker will probably see me as a bluffer right now. Excuse me while I take quite a large drink. I had some garlic mayonnaise earlier and it's absolutely destroyed me. Super thirsty. So hopefully we get some action here with our 2 jacks. And we do, and we flop a set as well, which is pretty nice. If I was c-bet bluffing here, what size would I choose? I'd probably choose something like 180. And unfortunately we get no action. Here we go, another player, new player to table, Wally. It's just an invest. This has actually been quite an eye-opener for me. I've played on Unibet before, but I've usually been like 4 or 6 tabling it, and I've never really had the chance to kind of just take my time, look at the games, see what's going on. And it might just be that I've randomly stumbled across two good tables. Yeah, it's quite exciting to me that right now it's feeling like I may have found just a little gold mine. Because we've been playing 25 minutes now, we've been put in a couple of minorly inconvenient spots by this guy in small pots, and that's it. We haven't been put under any pressure ever since. The guy who played his flush draw in an okay way, I thought. He put a little bit of pressure on us. If we didn't have Anderstrothers queens there, we may well find a fold. No, overall, the games just seem really nice to play, and the software is really slick. Yeah, I think it's a good option if you are not particularly committed to your current site. And I know it can be quite easy to get committed, particularly on PokerStars, where they really do try and turn FPPs into heroin and get people absolutely addicted to the FPP hamster wheel. It might be hard to put yourself away because you're always never that far away from another Stellar Award or increasing your VIP status or whatever it is. They're really good at just keeping people, just it's like a cheese on a piece of string or a carrot on a piece of string when you just don't mean to be rude, but trying to encourage a donkey to keep plodding forwards. It's like the carrot on a string, carrot on a stick thing. And PokerStars are really good at the whole carrot on a stick thing. If you can take yourself away, do look at sites like Unibet. Even at sites like 888, which albeit I've said it's going downhill, it's still a vast improvement on PokerStars. If you're on iPoker, a site that I've had a little look at lately, the games are dreadful there too, for the record. Just think about reducing volume, increasing stakes, finding softer games. You'll find your grind's a lot more enjoyable, hopefully a lot more profitable, and you might actually start feeling like you're making some progress in poker, because it's quite easy to just get yourself in a rut where you're playing 20 NL, 10 NL, whatever it is, you're making $6 to $10 an hour, but you're never really making any progress because most of your profit you withdraw it to spend. So you're never really making enough where you can still withdraw and enjoy your profits, as you should do, whilst at the same time build a bankroll. It's hard to do both right now. It's not as hard if you're on the softer sides, because you can take some aggressive shots knowing that you're in softer games, because you're going to be not mass tabling. Without question, you're going to play better. You're going to find more spots to isolate, you're going to find more spots to go for thin value, you're going to find more spots to bluff, because you're not going to have 8,000 other tables blinking at you whilst you're making a close decision. Most of the people who I coach and they play lots of tables, I ask them to actually record themselves playing and we watch it back. And you can see they're flustered, they're playing like 4 tables of Zoom or something, and they're missing tons of spots. They're just checking back in spots where they could bluff, or they're checking back in spots where they could get thin value. And it's just because they're that flustered. They're just taking the easy decision. And yeah, they can certainly do a lot better than that. And the way to do it, in my opinion, is reduce your volume and increase your focus. Without question, you will play better. You will feel like a better poker player. The confidence will start to surge through you. I don't want to sound like I'm trying to hypnotize people here, but really do. If you're winning at 2 big blinds 100 on a busy site, just give it a month somewhere else. Even just give it a week somewhere else. Just try and get yourself off that hamster wheel and onto something that's better for you. Because you're effectively just a PokerStars employee. You're grinding games for them, and they're making a lot more money than you are out of you. I'm just going to check back here. I don't think we're going to have the best hand too often. I don't think we're going to get called by worse too often at all. And I was going to check back there anyway. We rivered the nuts. And now I'm just going to go for a large bet and hope he doesn't fold something. There's a reasonable chance he can have like a 2-pair type hand here. I think he probably bets a queen on the river. Don't think he can have a straight too often. But yeah, just to finish the point off, unfortunately our friend's gone here. Just to finish the point off, if you are winning at 2 blinds 100 on a bigger site, just check out your profit versus your rake paid. See how much rake you're paying versus the profit that you're making. If you're only winning at 1 or 2 blinds 100, you can almost guarantee that the rake you're paying is going to be far higher than the actual profit you're taking from the game. So you're actually, people love poker stars and party poker and things, and they're really grateful to them, but you're just kind of working for them if you think about it that way. You're grinding your ass off, going through all sorts of soul crushing variants and that comes with having a small win rate, and you're spending half your week probably feeling bad about yourself just to make a really small amount of money from the big sites while they take all the cream. So why don't have a little bit more cream for yourself? Pay less rake, make more money, play softer sites. I'm not going to go on about that any longer now. I think I've definitely made that point, and I've made it on numerous occasions. I'll no doubt make it again in future. I think we'll go for maybe another 5 or 10 minutes and just see if anything more interesting happens for us. There haven't been too many super interesting spots just because of how passive the games have been, which doesn't necessarily always make for the most interesting of videos, but it does make for a pleasant grind. Not that you can call too tamely grinding, of course. But I think when I finish this video, I'll probably continue to grind, just put a little bit of drifters or something on YouTube or some 70s disco and just chill out and enjoy myself. Because that's what poker should be for most people watching this video. It should just be a pleasurable hobby type experience that makes you some money too. We can't all be the next Ike Axton or the next Storrs or the next whoever the current fanboy favourite is. But we can all be people who get a lot of pleasure from playing poker and also just get to give themselves a little bit of extra pocket money. Kind of set myself up with this squeeze here, which is a shame. That was probably quite a poor call by me. We have an aggressive player there. At this game the pot is already folded. It's probably a poor call. Little bit of autopilot there because I was talking. And it will be interesting to see what this character does, because it's a pretty gross overbet. I'm keeping my eye on this person to see if they reload, because my initial thought was this person could be a regular. But if they don't reload and they stay at this kind of stack size or get lower going to the 30s, it's probably going to be safe to assume that they're not regular. And they still haven't reloaded, so hopefully we'll be able to pick up a bit of a read soon that this isn't going to be a good regular. It may just be a bad aggressive player or just like a semi-regular, bad semi-regular, who knows. This is where we do have to pay more attention. We have no HUD stats, and because we have no HUD stats, we have avatars, and a lot of people have the same avatars. We have to pay attention to the changing dynamic of the table. If somebody leaves and somebody comes with a similar or same avatar, and we don't notice, we could make some expensive mistakes. So we certainly need to keep our eye on everything that's going on. We certainly need to be more observant. But that's quite easy to do if you have just anything between 2 and 4 tabling. It's not too hard to keep your eye on what's going on across 2 to 4 tables. If there are any Unibet players on here, by the way, who review this video either on YouTube or review it to a Reddit link, then you're aware that there is some kind of tracking software for Unibet that does work and doesn't need massive amounts of updates every time they do a software update, please do let me know. I'd be very interested to find out. I kind of hope there isn't. I kind of hope ultimately it doesn't work. I like the idea of sites that are actually quite pure and not at all HUD friendly. I like the idea of it. So I kind of don't want there to be one, but if there is one, I want to be aware of it. I'd like to know. I'm not going to pay this guy fee, I think it's passive. I didn't even want to 3-bet in pre-flop because he limps so often. I think 3-betting ace jack there wouldn't be too great. I mean, it couldn't be bad. It's a strong hand against a player we think's bad. But given how often they've limped, it's going to be less good. And maybe we could have made it very small, it's like 7 blinds or something, just to gain the initiative and to try and freeze out the players behind. So maybe 3-betting there would have been slightly better. Just a small 3-bet. I kind of had a strong hand. I was at position on the weak player. I was more than happy just to peel too. So that's not my playing results. I think peeling or 3-betting small, I think either would have been fine there. We are coming up to 36 minutes into the video, so I think I'll just do my end of video spiel. Basically just doing a little bit of self-promotion, which is basically I am amongst other things, I do a dabble in a little bit of microsales coaching. I'm currently working with around 15 to 16 players, and I'm always on the lookout for extra people to work with. I really enjoy my work. I enjoy helping people, I enjoy coaching people. I like to think that I have a good record doing it. I've got some very good feedback. I continue to get good feedback. People seem to enjoy the sessions with me. I'm not a really academic type coach. I don't set homework. I don't give standards. I don't send out hand charts. I just like to just sit with people, just chat poker with them, and just hopefully help them start to think about poker independently rather than just always looking for standard ways to play things. I try and promote people to actually think. A lot of my coaching sessions is me asking why someone's doing something, asking them to explain, and then giving my feedback on their explanation, either good or bad. Sometimes I'll agree, sometimes I'll disagree. And I'm quite an informal coach, but I do have a really good record at helping people go from the lower micros to the upper micros. And I'm very confident I could do that with most players with the correct attitude and work ethic. If you just want someone to come and give you some magic beans, make you instantly into a good poker player, that's not going to work. You're going to have to put the effort in yourself. You're going to put the time in. You need to be dedicated. You need to be disciplined. No coach in the world is going to be able to make you into a winning player from a losing player if you don't have discipline and dedication and a good work ethic. It's just not going to happen. Online poker is too tough these days to be able to do it half-assed. So yeah, if you would like to talk to me about potentially working with me, or to book a taster session, to book a group of sessions, please get in touch with me either on Reddit or in the comment section below the video on YouTube. The ways to contact me are in there. So please do get in touch. I'd be delighted to hear from you. But for now, I think we're going to call this an end to this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you've enjoyed seeing a different side to what you normally see in traditional poker videos, and I hope some of the stuff that I've talked about today, I hope it's resonated with you, and I hope it's given you some food for thought. Take care now. Look after yourselves.